Hey y'all, how you perking? I hope you're perking good. So, $1,000,000 question here. I am a licensed mental health clinician as well as a spiritual intuitive, and I get this question a lot. And somehow it finally occurred to me, how about let's do a video on it? Let's do a video on this and go ahead and answer everybody all at once. So the question is, why is it that someone can look at psychic videos, tarot videos, psychic videos on YouTube on a certain topic, and multiple psychics might say multiple different things about whatever the topic is? Or let's say you have a question on your mind, you go to psychics or tarot readers and you go to 2 or 3 different ones and you get 2 or 3 different answers, and you're like, how is that possible? If they are, all allegedly receiving information from spirit, then how is it possible that there could be variation? How is it possible that they wouldn't get the exact same information, that this wouldn't line up? I don't get that. And I had somebody that wrote me that question in the DMs today, and I honestly was very humbled that they trusted me enough to ask me that question as opposed to anybody else. And they said that my response back to them was more helpful than any of the responses that they've received from others before, and more helpful than anything that they've read on discussion forums, which I don't know what those are or where they are. But they claimed that my answer, my little old me, my answer was more helpful than those. And so I thought, you know what? First of all, thank you. That's very nice and very humbling. And second of all, if you're wondering this, other people probably are too. So let's just dive in and see if this is a question that some of y'all have had, and let's see if I can try to do my best at providing an answer to y'all. So shout out to Victor for the question today. Victor gave me permission to say their first name, to give them a shout out and a thank you for asking me this question. So shout out to you, Victor, and thank you again. So, yeah, let's go ahead. Come on, Penelope. Get on over here. Come into my office, girl. Come into my office. You see this matchy? Cool? Yeah, okay. So, anywho, with this question, how is it that we can get multiple different responses, outcomes, answers, varying things? What's going on here? And I'm going to preface this by saying a disclaimer that I am not the be-all, end-all for this answer. I am not the, high and mighty, I know it all, and I can impart some wisdom to you feeble minds. That's not what's going on here. That's not what's going on here. I'm just sharing my own personal thoughts, my 2 little cents on this issue, and see where it falls. See if you find it helpful. So, I said that this was a multifaceted question. Lots of answers to this question. Lots of reasons why, not just one reason why. So, as you know, I've written it down on my little handy dandy notes here, so that I make sure and keep all my thoughts together. So the first thing, and y'all have heard me, if you've watched this channel over and over and over, you've seen many videos from me, then you've heard this before. The first reason why this can happen is that tarot and psychic information is energy. It's potentials. And different psychics, different tarot readers can be reading different potentials. So let me explain again, just real quick for anybody that may not understand what I mean. If you're new here, hello, hi. That, right now, there are so many different potentials that could happen right now. The most likely potential to happen is that I'm going to continue to talk into Penelope right here, and I'm going to finish this video for y'all and try to figure out how to get it up on the interwebs. That is the most likely potential. But Somebody, my husband could come home and get off work early and come barging through this door and interrupt me where I have to pause. A dog can start barking. I got 4 little puppies. They can start barking at some bullshit, and I might have to go out there and attend to it. Whatever. There's a lot of different things that could happen. I could decide to click stop on recording and walk the fuck out of here and go to the beach. I can't really decide that because that takes money. So that ain't going to happen. But I could. Theoretically, that's an option. So you get the point here. There are bazillions of different potentials for anybody at any time. What psychic readers and tarot readers are reading is they're scanning through all the potentials, and the loudest one kind of slaps them in their face and comes to them, and they're reading the one that currently has the most energy behind it. The thing with potentials are, obviously, potentials are not always set in stone. There's a very high likelihood that what people read on is what's going to happen, but things can change. So here are some influences that can get in the way in terms of reading potentials. 1, say you're asking a question about your love life, and it's a question about you and your ex. Well, technically, the potentials aren't shifting just based on you and your thoughts and your feelings and what you might do or what you might say. The potentials are also shifting based on them. Y'all are co-creating this experience together. So what they think, say, and do can also have an influence over what potentials are happening or are not happening. So there's another thing that can influence potentials: big changes. Somebody might read your cards and see, it looks like you're not going to do well on your diet. It's most likely that you're going to, fall back into your old patterns and keep eating the way you used to eat. And that might be the potential that's the most there on paper. And then some time goes by, something big happens, and you see some big motivational speech, or you find out that someone really close to you has a serious ailment because of weight-related issues, and all these things come at you, and you're like, I've got to change my mind. I've got to make a big change here. And so boom, you start making a huge change. Well, now if you ask a reader the same question, they might be seeing some different cards because there's been big changes, new events that come up. So things can affect what comes out. Again, you're essentially reading energy. Whenever you're doing psychic reading, tarot reading, and stuff like that, you're reading energy, and energy is mutable. So again, whereas you can have the most likely thing to happen, and that ends up happening most of the time, there's a chance that it could be tweaked, it could be changed, something else could happen. There are other potentials that kind of could be louder than the first one. Things happen. It happens. So second reason why you might get different results with different readers, or readers might see different things or whatever, is that different gifts equals different strengths. So think about it this way. There are some readers out there that say, you know what, I specialize in reading about career and finances because they're really good at that. And then they're maybe not so accurate or not so good with reading relationships. The inverse could be true. There's also people out there that are like, I'm really good at reading, spiritual health and, being like a medical intuitive to kind of see what might be going on in somebody's body or their aura, but I'm not so great at knowing what's going to happen in their job. Certain people have different strengths. There are also people out there that are like, hey, in terms of the psychic information that I get, I am more clairsentient. I feel things more than I would hear things or see things or whatever. And so when I receive information, I do better at reading about how people are feeling, whether it's feeling emotionally or feeling physically. So those are their strengths, and some other things may be their weakness. Those kinds of things could account for getting some discrepant answers. You may have spoken to someone who's really good with relationships on your relationship question and got one. You may have spoken with somebody else who kind of struggles with that, but they tried to answer your question, and you got kind of different results there because that's maybe not their strong point. It happens. Some intuitives out there, some psychics, some tarot readers know what their strengths are. Some don't. Some people consider themselves generalists, basically. I'm one of those where I don't really necessarily say I have any one major strength in terms of subject matter or topic that I'll discuss. I feel like I'm more general in that, kind of more versatile in what kinds of topics and questions that I might answer. And a lot of us kind of consider ourselves in that category, but still, even within that, every reader, every psychic or tarot reader has their own style, their own knowledge, their own skill set, their own interests, and that will also play into how they read the cards. For example, at the beginning, y'all heard me say, before I said I'm a spiritual intuitive, I said I'm a licensed mental health clinician. Therefore, I feel personally, not trying to, toot my own horn or anything, but I feel like that gives me an advantage in a lot of questions that people will have around relationship dynamics, or I feel stuck in life, or, what do I do about, X, Y, or Z that relates to how I feel emotionally or spiritually or psychologically or mentally or having mental health concerns, or, all kinds of things that deal with the person within themselves or the person interpersonally with other people and stuff like that. I happen to be pretty strong with those questions because of my own skill sets already and my own interests already. And there's going to be other readers out there that have their own things, their own buckets that kind of influences their style and the way that they go about things and the way they see things and perceive things and do things and what they focus on. So all of that kind of comes into consideration as well. The third reason why you might get discrepant answers and responses if you ask multiple psychics something or watch multiple videos on the same topic is a very important one. Y'all, I'm about to drop a bomb. This is something that I think 99.9999999% of psychics and tarot readers won't tell you. We are human, and thus we are fallible. Oh shit, we are human, and thus we are fallible. Think about this. Every human gets confused. Every human makes mistakes. Every human misinterprets things every once in a while. We are receiving energy, and we're supposed to correctly interpret energy that only people super sensitive can perceive. That's a lot harder than trying to interpret other things. So think about the last time you saw somebody make a facial expression and you're like, excuse me, was that attitude? Because I think your face just showed some attitude. And the person's like, no, that wasn't attitude at all. I'm sorry, I just have resting bitch face. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to give you that look. That wasn't attitude at all. It's like, here they were giving you a concrete look, something you can actually physically see, and still you misinterpreted it for something else. But here we are trying to receive information through energy. You can't even see it or hear it or smell it or taste it or touch it or whatever. And we've got to be 100% accurate 100% of the time. It doesn't happen, honey. It doesn't happen. And in fact, I've said over and over on this channel, if you've been a member here for long enough, you know that I've said over and over and over, if you ever go to a psychic and they say, I am 100% right 100% of the time, I am always on it, you need to run fast as hell, get the hell on out of there, because they are a liar and they're fixing to take your money and tell you whatever the hell they want to tell you with it. Because that's just impossible. That's not true. It does not happen. Anybody that suggests that they have the ability to be 100% right 100% of the time is a fake. And I've said that on here countless times. Plenty of y'all can vouch for me on that. And I stand by that. Think about this. doctors have to take a look at symptoms that people are presenting, and they have to correctly diagnose them and correctly prescribe the right medication. How many times do we hear, I was misdiagnosed for this, I was misdiagnosed for that? They got confused on the signs and symptoms, and they made a mistake. They misinterpreted the signs and symptoms as something else. People in all professions do this, in all types of work do this. It just so happens that psychics and tarot readers are not granted much grace when we do it. So if we misinterpret something that we receive from energy that we can't see or hear or smell or taste or touch, and we somehow misinterpret that as something else, it's like, oh, you fake and phony, you got that shit wrong. I knew you were fake and phony. I knew your job was BS and y'all were all bullshit and blah, 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 and all this stuff. And it's like, well, damnatious. Other people in other industries are allowed to have a misinterpretation or a miscommunication or make a mistake or get confused. And we're not allowed to have that same grace. It happens, people, it happens. And it's okay. And so for all of you out there who don't want to trust your gifts or don't want to try it because you're scared of that scrutiny, just know that I'm giving you permission. It may not mean a hill of beans, but I'm giving you permission to say it's okay. You're a human. You're allowed to make mistakes from time to time. But that does bring me to the fourth reason why, and I'm sure there's others. Remember, this is just me and my own 2 cents here of the reasons why I think people might have conflicting answers on things. The fourth reason being what I was just saying. Unfortunately, y'all, it is true that there are some fakes out there that just want to make money. They are just saying whatever because they want to make money. They're making videos on topics you want to see, and they're saying the information that you so badly want to hear because they know hitting you with that confirmation bias is going to make them money and rake in the views on YouTube, or that if they tell you your soulmate is out there and you're going to meet them this, that, oh, but come back to me to learn more, that you're going to keep coming back to them and keep giving them money because you are hooked on what they're telling you. There are people like that, and it's sad. It pisses me off. It ruins it for the rest of us, but it exists. It exists, and it probably will continue to exist and continue to happen because there's bad eggs in every basket. So yeah, that happens. So all of this to say, how the fuck do you choose somebody then? How in the world do you weed through all of this to choose the psychic or tarot reader that you want to watch on YouTube, or to choose the psychic or tarot reader that you want to be the one to do your readings? How the fuck do you choose then if there's a chance that they could give a different answer than this person, that could give a different answer than this person, then could, then how do you know who's right and who's wrong and whatever? Like, I got you. Okay, I got you. First of all, find the person that you connect with the most. We all know what it feels like to have some people that we really connect to, and some people were like, girl, I don't vibe with her. I don't. And that's okay. That's okay. We all connect with certain people and then don't with others. Find one that you connect with, because remember, if they are reading energy, they can only read energy through connection. That's how the energy comes. It's a connection to a stream of energy from you to me, a stream of energy from me to your guides, from me to my guides. It's all energetic streams that come through connections, those channels. We're channeling through the connection, the cord. And so find a reader that you feel the most connected to, because that's the first step in knowing whether or not they may be a good fit for you. Another thing, choose the reader that, if you're doing private readings, this doesn't maybe apply so much to like online readings, but if you're doing private readings, choose the reader that you feel like seems the most accurate to you for your past and your present. You may not know what your future holds, and so you may not know if what they're telling you about your future is true, but if they're talking with you about kind of who you are and how you are in life and the things you've been through in the past and, kind of how you are, who you are today, or, things about you now or in the past that you would know, and they seem to get an accurate sense of you and your life and who you are and where you've been and all of that, then the best predictor of future stuff is people who can accurately predict the past and the present. So finding people that you feel like, they have a good sense of my past and my current life. And so I feel like I can trust them to accurately see my future as well. That's another kind of way to be able to tell and to know. Jesus Lord, help me. I'm Southern. Please forgive. And also how to choose. This one's a biggie for me. The track record, honey, the track record. Do they have a verifiable track record? Okay, that's honestly one of the best ways. If you watch somebody on YouTube, and I'm not going to name names, but I remember back when I used to watch people on YouTube that did psychic and tarot readings, I remember watching this one particular psychic. She's a very kind, older woman. I love her as a person. I don't have anything against her, but I remember that I used to watch her probably about 3 years ago. I don't know if she's still on YouTube or not, but I used to watch some of her videos, and God bless her, she never got anything right. Nothing in any of her videos ever came true. It was always one day this will come out, one day this will be true, but nothing actually ever did come true that she was saying. And so you had to go off on faith that one day it would come true. And that ain't enough for me. I'm enough of a skeptic myself, even being one, that's not enough for me. So I for someone like that, I would discontinue watching them or discontinue using their services if you have to go off on faith for everything they say because there's no verifiable track record. That's one reason why I put on my channel a proof playlist available publicly on my channel of various proof of things that have come true. Now, the problem is that I don't always have time. I work multiple jobs. I'm just, a measly, lowly little person on this planet, so I work multiple jobs to make ends meet. So I don't always have time to do proof videos, but in the event that something comes true and I haven't been able to make a proof video on it, I'll at least voice in videos or live streams, and I've done some videos where this, and that came true. If you want to see, these things that I predicted that came true, you can find them in, that video or whatever. Kind of like with all the Russia-Ukraine stuff that was going on. And I was like, remember in the 2022 predictions video when I named Russia and China by name with the U.S. that there was going to be some shit in 2022? Yeah, that was back there. So I may not have made a proof video showing something was true, but I called attention to it and, sent people back there and told them which video that they can look in. Another example, back with the 2020 elections, I predicted that it would be a shit show and that we wouldn't know who the winner was for a while, that there'd be some disputing over who would be the winner for a while and all this stuff. And that happened. I didn't make a proof video about it, but it's out there, so I have a proof playlist for plenty of things, but I didn't start that until recently, and then I haven't really been adding to it as much as I need to because of time. But still, I at least have something out there for a way to verify my track record. And even y'all who are viewers, who've been viewers for a long time, you are a great means of verifying my track record if you've watched long enough and you can show. And so that's another good way to know who you want to choose is, do they have something that you can see that helps back it up, that helps you have some trust? So there's one last thing that I'd like to add. One last thing. This is a bit of a tangent from where we were, but there are a lot of people out there when they're going to readers, to psychic or tarot readers, and they so badly want to know if this person is legit or not, that they're like, here, let me not tell them anything and see if they can pick up on stuff. And so they might be like, will B do what Jay wanted based on what I know Jay wants. And ask you that question and see what you say. Well, the problem with this is what I call the GIGO rule. Garbage in, garbage out. If you give a psychic or a tarot reader literally nothing, you will get literally nothing. People get so wrapped up in the idea of cold readings based on, Hollywood says you should be able to have cold readings and that somebody is a total mind reader and you could say, well, then what number am I thinking of? Or, well, then, if I'm going to have a settlement of money coming to me, what's the money amount? And that you should know that or you're not a real psychic. I hate that Hollywood and other places have bastardized what this is and what this does to make people think that that's how it works, but it doesn't. And so remember, this is energy. People are reading energy potentials, which means, as I said before, that works off connection. So think about this. You walk into the doctor's office and you're like, okay, I'm just gonna, I don't know if they're a legit doctor or not. So I'm just gonna tell them, Doc, I'm feeling bad. That's your hint. That's your hint. I'm feeling bad. And you want them to be a good enough doctor to know you have the flu versus pneumonia versus bronchitis versus this or that because you presented with the cough and they should be able to know off of that. Things don't work like that. When you are withholding your energy and your information, you are essentially cutting off that energy stream to where it's just a tiny little drip, drip, drip. And a psychic's supposed to take that drip, drip, drip and be like, what is it saying? What is it saying? I'm trying to interpret it, but I'm not getting enough. It's like when you have a really good connection and y'all are vibing and y'all are talking and things are going and things are flowing, then the full flow is on, the full faucet is on, and they have access to so much stuff and they start giving you all of this stuff and you're like, whoa, you are giving me thing after thing after thing after thing because it works on energy. It works on connection. So think about it like this too. To do your job, when you do your job, if you feel like somebody doesn't trust you to do your job, they're giving you the bare minimum to get your job done, they're not wanting to communicate with you, and you can tell that they are already believing that you're going to fail and fuck it up. Do you do a good job? You don't. You don't do a good job. You do a better job when you feel relaxed, like they think they're open to the fact that you might succeed. They think maybe you'll fail at this, but you might succeed at this. I'm open to the fact that you might succeed. You do a better job with that because you're more relaxed. You're less anxious. So you're better able to do things. And they gave you the proper communication. They gave you more than the bare minimum of what you needed to get your job done. They, seemed to be, open and kind and communicative and receptive to you. All of those things helped you get your job done and meet their needs because there was the reciprocity there. And it's the same way in this line of work. There's a reciprocity here that helps make sure that everything runs really smoothly. So no, you don't have to sit there and tell everybody all the answers and stuff like that. But I'm just talking about, let's say your question is, I'm really worried about my marriage. I wonder if my marriage is going to last. What if that's around your question? If you're like, okay, I've got a question about relationship and I just want to know if this is going to turn out, this way or that way. And that's what you say, then that's not really going to be, garbage in, garbage out. But if you say, listen, I'm in a marriage and I'm just wondering, how this marriage is going to turn out, what's most likely to happen, what can I look forward to? You could just say that. And the psychic should be able to read whether this is a healthy marriage or an unhealthy marriage. Some of the things that are going well, some of the things that aren't going well, what's most likely to happen. If it's not a good outcome, then what are the things that would need to be done, if anything can be done, to steer the boat around to get it to a better direction so that the marriage doesn't dissolve. Like, they would be able to fill in all the context, but they do need to have the basic setup first. So just a little bit of a setup, just a little basic setup. That's all they need. You don't have to give them all the answers. Shit, no. But you know what I mean? Just not being guarded and closed down and expecting them to fail from the onset. So anywho, I've been rambling here for literally 30 minutes on the dot right now. And so just seeing, hoping that this is helpful to y'all. Again, for me, I've been talking about readings this whole time, so I would be remiss if I didn't say, if you want a private reading with me, my website's down below, BeasTalksAndTarot.com. Do private readings. I do Reiki Energy Healing Sessions, and I also do one-on-one coaching sessions with people who want to learn how to read tarot the way that I read the tarot, with my good track record and everything like that. And so if you're interested in any of that, check out my website. I hope that this video has been helpful. Like I said, take it with a grain of salt. I am not the be-all, end-all. I don't, tout myself as the tarot guru and that, I have all the answers and I know it all and I am impervious and this and that. I don't. Okay? I say this with humility. I say this with love. I say this knowing how to put myself in my place and keep myself in check. I'm just trying to answer a question that I feel like a lot of people have, whether they say it or not. And I'm hoping that this has been helpful. And if this has been helpful, what I do ask is that you please share this. I feel like this word needs to get out there. And I also feel like people like me who do psychic work tend to not get seen, noticed, heard of, recognized unless their work is shared. Word of mouth is the best way that people find out about us. That's why people say the best compliment is a referral. So if you feel like you could share this video or share it to groups or to people that are wondering this, or putting it on, Reddit forums that ask this question or stuff like that. People said that there's, Victor said that there's discussion forums out there on this issue, which I didn't know that existed, and I don't know where those exist. But if you happen to know what those are and where they exist, if they allow for video links to be posted, please do share this. And if you feel that this was helpful, to kind of get that word out there to everybody. So anywho, I know I've been talking too long. I've got both of my ear, well, not really this ear, but this ear, my right ear, I don't know if it's right on your screen though, is flaming hot. My cheeks are also flaming hot. So that means I've had way too much energy flowing to me and through me right now. And I need to shut the hell up and walk up on out of here. But my hands are really cold though. But anywho, I really am thankful, Victor, for asking the question. So again, shout out to you, and thankful to everybody else who trusts me here to provide my perspective of the answer to that, and hope that y'all come back. So don't be a stranger. Come back and see me, and I will talk at you later. Bye, love you, minute. Bye, love you, minute. Bye, y'all. And I'm gonna post some kind of B-rolls here at the end. Puppy shenanigans. So stay tuned for puppies. All right, bye, y'all. Uh-oh. Someone sees that their father went to PetSmart. We were trying to do this quietly. We were trying to do this before he would notice. But he has already noticed. Did Daddy give you a bunny?
Bodie, you got a pelican?
Oh, a pelican and a rabbit.
Where are you gonna get food?
Yeah, Izzy, we got food treats for you. We got food treats for you. We know you like food treats more than toys. The boys play with the toys. She wants food. Yeah, I love your toys. You love your toys. Oh, we switched. We switched. Yes, we did. We switched. Oh my goodness. You love your toys. Oh, one ran away with his toy. What are you going to do with your toy? What are you going to do with your toy? What are you going to do, Scoot? What are you going to do? Look at you. I'm going to chew on his ass, yeah. You're funny. Bodhi already went into the bed with his. We gotta get squeakers. Were you comfortable there? Oh, that's why we call that scooter pump. Because you're pumping air with that little leg. Oh, now you're gonna be cute. Right after you were Mr. Rigor Mortis for a second there, now you're gonna be all cute. You're a weird little boy. Yes, you are. Then we have a sleepy Bodhi and a sleepy Izzy. And then sleepy little cousin Rosie here. She's staying with us for a couple days while her mommy gets over a cold. Bless. And a non-sleeping Riquito.
I'm gonna fall asleep with them too.
Okay, well, sleeping with them.